Well, hello everybody. It is Monday, 2:23 here on the west coast of the United States of America. Sorry for being late. I have this guy to blame for us being late. I was right on time, and he, for some reason, for a guy who knows audio very well and understands music very well, can't ever get his mic to work properly. I think he figured it out finally.
Yeah, we're good. I think we're good.
After months and months of doing that. Okay, we're gonna let Tom lead this thing. I wasn't even supposed to be in town to be live. I think what I was gonna do, the plan was just to give Tom. What's it, Mike? To give
What's wrong
Tom.
with you, man?
I was gonna give Tom the login info and all that, and then have him run with the show. And but things got changed around. My work trip got canceled because of the weather, and moved on to online. So I've been doing all that, and that's why we're going live at 2:15, as opposed to earlier. So hello. Nick says God is good. Nick also said Tom was in the shower singing. I can just think of what song Tom was in the shower singing. It's only one thing that comes to my mind.
Nick. Nick,
Hey,
how do you know
Alexandra is in the
house?
house. What's up? She said, haven't been here in a hot minute. Hello, everybody. Hey, Alexandra, how you doing? He was actually shopping at Zara. Don't say that in public, bro.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
But I make sure it's not. I make sure like nothing I'm buying is made in Turkey.
Thank God. Okay.
Like
good.
I put some nice clothes down just because they're made in Turkey. But
By the way,
listen,
I remember back in the day, I bought $150 jacket. And like it was like one of those things where I was like, I'm going to buy this. This is the sort of thing you buy, whatever, every 6 months or something like that. And it's going to last you for a while. I bought it without looking at the tag. Maybe 6 months after that, I realized it was made in Turkey. And then I ended up just giving it away to someone. I was going to throw it in the trash, but somebody was like, no, don't. My conscience is not bothered by wearing it. I was like, whatever, you can have it.
Yeah, that's fine.
I
mean,
what were you singing? Arms Wide Open?
hey, listen, Zara's pretty good though. I gotta say, they have some.
I
Fancy,
know a very popular YouTube guy that likes shopping at Zara. I won't name him,
Okay.
but y'all know him.
I mean, I don't even know, and I would guess who it is just from the style.
Zara has nothing good for men.
Oh no, you're wrong.
Yeah,
Harut
Harut 56 million. I don't know what this is. Why is there an E
wrong.
at the end of Harut's name? It's a weird way to write Harut. Okay, I hurt myself yesterday, Tom. Look at this.
What you do?
Look.
Oh, I saw that. I was like, what's on his hand?
Yeah. It's a pretty deep cut. It's not like a big giant like cut, but it's deep.
Yeah.
Like right when I went through it, I was like, I was I thought I should get some sun because I, as you guys can tell, kind of my voice is muffled and all that. But I thought it might be a good idea for me to get some sun, go out and prune my grapevine. So I was pruning my grapevine, as every good Christian should have a grapevine, by the way. And every good Armenian should have a grapevine. If you don't have a grapevine, you're a Christian or an Armenian, or both, you need to re-examine your life. Get a grapevine, plant it, grow it. You'll learn a lot of things about life. But I was pruning it, and then, we always keep the branches because the branches are good for making barbecue. They're excellent. They make the best coals you can possibly think about, especially if you're using a simple grill.
Yes, sir.
So this show is not sponsored by Simple Grill, but Simple Grill is a partner of Apologia Center, so we're going to pump it out.
Yeah.
So, I was cutting them up into smaller pieces, manageable pieces to put it to the side so it can dry. And then, we'll do some barbecue, invite our very good friend Nick over, do some barbecue with him, and then drink some apple juice. But I ended up like holding the branch, and then I went in for the cut. I cut the branch, and I cut my like right here, bro, right here. Look at that, right here, right here. And it's
Hey,
a
you were
deep
just having
cut.
a brutal day yesterday,
I
weren't
know,
you?
man.
We were we were hanging out after church. Your wife was there too, and everyone's like, "Where's Arthur?" So
Sleepy.
Arthur is usually the guy in these like church after church gatherings. He'll sort of sit somewhere and talk to someone, and then people will gather around him, and he's kind of like Plato, Aristotle style, like imparting his wisdom. But he wasn't there to do that, so everyone was scattered. So I decided I'd do that. So I started doing it, and nobody gathered, and I
Oh,
was just like, okay, that's,
that's
nobody
messed.
gathered. But hey, I did have some really good conversations with people yesterday, like one-on-one.
Yeah, I saw some
um
pictures or some videos you were sitting and talking.
we had some
So
good
yeah, it
conversations.
wouldn't stop bleeding. Like it was
Mm,
deep. So I was like, do I need stitches? Because I felt that. So wrapped it up and all that stuff. Waited till night. I reopened it up and it was still bleeding. And I was like, I might need to go to the urgent care. And I told my wife, go buy this thing and these little strip things that you pull brings your skin together. So I did that.
ugh,
Bleeding stopped,
yeah,
and
yuck.
it's been good. So no bleeding. I haven't had a Band-Aid on. Pretty good. Arthur's injured, out for 6 weeks. It seems. No, Arthur's
Yeah.
not out, man. I have to chop my arm off for that to happen. Hit the like button, guys. Somebody showed up to Bible study sick, got me sick. I know who you are. You know who you are because you told me you were sick when you came to Bible study. But don't do that again, whoever you are.
Yeah,
You
it's
know who
it's
you are.
spreading, man.
Please.
It's spreading
Like,
right now. Stay
guys, if you're
home,
sick, just
people.
stay home. Like, you know what the crazy thing is? That I was supposed to be out of town. Imagine if I got sick and I was supposed to be out of town for a week.
Yeah, forget about it.
Like, would have been
That would have
horrendous.
sucked.
But it hasn't hit me heavy, but it's just nagging and annoying and all that stuff.
Mm.
This guy, he's the pastor. He's saying, I'm usually the last person to leave the sanctuary at my church. You better be the last person leaving the sanctuary at your church. Okay, Tom. You are leading kind of what we're talking about today. What's gone on? I've slept in weird hours and weird ways. I got a couple of things that I've paid attention to, specifically on the Bethel end, on the Mike Winger kind of stuff. My attention's been on that end of this kind of conversation, because Bethel,
Yeah.
their leadership came out and gave a talk yesterday, sharing about whatever their issues are and all that. Mike Winger will make a video on that, but he made a post. Mike Winger said that he was very pleased and happy that Bethel came out and said the things that they said. At the same time, he had some concerns still, but that was really cool to see, I think. And we'll leave it to Mike that knows the details of that. But in all fairness, whether they did it wrong initially and all that stuff, Bethel coming out and saying that the stuff that they said is a good thing, and props to them for that. I still have questions theologically on a number of issues, but one of the things I would say that I was looking at that and watching these 70-year-old men kind of sharing about these things was just like, hey, this is something to learn from on how we deal with situations in churches. That's at least from my end. It wasn't like YouTube, what can I react to? Because quite often that's possible where we do that. In my mind, the things that I was thinking about was more in my local church as a leader. What are things that we can do? What are things that we should put into place so we don't fall victim to these sorts of things?
Yeah.
Taking them for their word.
Safeguarding it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's
I
so.
don't think we
if
have
you
to
ask
worry
me, like
about
Arthur,
any of our guys.
sorry, hang on. You'll share that. I didn't hear what you said. But if you ask me, Arthur, like, what are you going to react to and all this stuff? My response generally will be, it's probably nothing in regards to YouTube wise. I would say do what the Bible says. Look at people's mistakes and learn from it, and do not be foolish.
Yeah.
Your turn.
I mean, no, I feel like just a little bit of like auditing, and you'd probably find the guy to serve your church that doesn't walk around naked in hotel rooms pleasing himself. Like I feel like it's a very like, you know what I mean? I'm not even trying to be like I'm sort of trying to be funny, but not
Yeah.
super funny. Like it's like you start like seeing people's personalities pretty quickly, especially if you're considering them for leadership. And it's like someone doesn't go generally from just like a super like godly normal dude who's solid on his theology and has an outstanding character, and then all of a sudden they're like walking around pleasuring themselves in hotel rooms,
Yeah. To be
and they're
fair,
like,
this was
you
not a person at
know what
their
I mean?
church, Tom.
No. I'm not talking about Bethel specific. I'm just talking about that situation
Yeah.
with whatever his face was. Yeah, so it's like I don't know, man, because you were talking about our church. Just put normal people around you, and don't
Amen.
elevate people who are just don't elevate people just for the sake of their like talent. Like someone comes to your church and they're like super talented in something, like it doesn't have to be prophecy if your church doesn't hold to that stuff anyways. But like let's say
Very
they're
good point.
super talented in something and you're like, oh, okay, they're talented, let's like ignore all of their character flaws and elevate them into
Yeah, and that
positions of leadership or
and
whatever.
that goes throughout kind of the whole spectrum as to how we think about things. One being the more charismatic Pentecostal leaning folks, which I'm a part of, tend to maybe overemphasize and focus on gifting and the way God is using people and look past character. But on the other side, I would say folks that are on the non-charismatic or Pentecostal side of things could do that with just someone being very gifted, like a gifted Bible teacher, a gifted musician, right? Where they kind of look past character. Both of these things matter, and we ought to be paying attention to people's characters and their spiritual development as well as their personal kind of character development.
Yeah, and we should and you should like hold people accountable. Like you should, as a leadership, hold each other accountable. Once in a while, pulling each other aside. Are you struggling with sexual sin? Are you doing okay with your wife? Are there things in your life that you're like? I mean, I've realized this through my time in leadership. There are times where we're talking so much about other people that we forget to like ask each other, like, how are you doing? It's like, dude, think about it. Like we're 100% church, 120% church now, thank God. And like any of us in leadership, the 7, 8 of us, like I could tomorrow do something so stupid. And I wasn't held accountable, and I've been doing this thing for like months, and then people find out and go like, Tom did this, right? And then that'll cause chaos for the entire church. And usually you can either put an end to it, or what does Mike Winger call it? The hiding culture. What does he call it?
Cover up culture.
Like cover up culture.
Mm-hmm.
So you can cover up culture even in like small ways, and that's like like letting something fester for too long before you cut it off where it needs to be. So it's just holding each other account. I always think of that, by the way, whenever my mind is like angry, or I'm thinking about things, or my walk is not like, I go like, this is not just my life that I'm like, my reputation that I would ruin, or my family's or whatever. It's also my church and the people I serve with, and the people who in some way look up to me at church, or see me as a part of like an influential part of their life. Like you're screwing so many people's lives. And so the one, it's like, make sure people are ready before you place them in any kind of leadership position. I know I've been placed in leadership positions in times in my life where I've absolutely not been ready. And two, if you are in a leadership position, like hold the person around you accountable, and make sure like these things that I'm saying age well. Where like 3 weeks later, Arthur's not here. Like we just found out, Tom was doing this and doing that. Like, come on, guys, let's follow the path, y'all.
Come on, y'all. Hey, hit the like button, folks. As we're getting going, and we're going to be talking about some very, very important things that are happening. And we need to, again, this is apologetics because we are thinking about reality in a Christian way. And that's very important, especially when it comes to politics. Tom's going to bring that our way.
Can you guys share this seriously? Like, share it. I say this every time, and I'm angry. Like, there's only 5 likes right now.
It's such a good thing that you're not sitting where I'm sitting.
Why?
It's just like, because I think you'd be like absolutely disappointed all the time.
Yeah. No, I am. Like the thing is like I don't think I would have the patience to like do a channel like this for myself because I'd always be angry at people. Like I see YouTubers going like, "Thank you everyone for watching," and over the last 10 years, 97% of you that have been watching are not subscribed. And I'm just like, if that happened, I would just like find everyone's address and go punch them in the face. Like how is
I'm
97% not
actually gonna
subscribed?
look. I'm gonna look at our analytics on that end.
That's weird, right? That's like me
Yeah,
putting like a
that's very strange.
concert on, and then people like I don't know. I can't find the analogy,
Okay,
but
let's do
somehow
last
97%.
90 days audience.
Yeah, like what's wrong with if you're watching? Just like the dang thing. Stop being.
Stop. Last 90 days out of everybody that's watched us, 79%, 79.8% not subscribed.
Like that pisses me off.
Like, can you imagine if all those people actually subscribed?
Yeah, it's messed up.
That'd be really cool.
You know what it is like here. I found like sort of my analogy. That's like us doing a praise with reason, like we're doing a night of worship and something, and then like we do it for free. By the way, we're not even charging this in this analogy. I'm giving this hypothetical, and then we say, hey, we have limited room, and then people sign up, and like there's 100 seats, and 100 people signed up, and then the day comes, and 80 of them don't show up. And then I'm like standing there after preparation in front of 20 people. Like that's what it feels like when people watch and don't subscribe or don't like. So just click the thumbs up button, man. What's wrong with you? Click that, share it out, support this ministry.
Let people know about this ministry and the work that we do. You guys, it's, you know, a lot goes into it. Okay, Tom. There's been some. I know about what's happened. But I can't say I've paid too much attention to it. It's partly because I haven't been feeling well. And I was also planning on leaving town.
Yeah.
As a youth leader, we'll move on to that. As a youth leader, I have to be 100% honest and accountable to the church, my parents, and youth for my actions. Amen to that.
Yeah, especially as a youth leader.
Okay, these prophecy teachers are frauds, and their pride is insane. They love the feeling of celebrity, and it manifests in taking advantage of people in sick ways, sexually and financially. Okay. As someone who's been a victim of spiritual abuse, I appreciate it's being talked about more.
Jeez.
Sorry for what you had to go through.
Yeah.
I admit as a YouTuber, it's frustrating. Yes, it is.
You know, dude, just like people have a little bit of discernment. And I'm not talking about like for example, being spiritually abused. That's not always on you. But like, how do people elevate? So when I'm looking at Mike Winger's stuff, like talking about, what's his name again? Sorry, I keep forgetting.
Sean Bowles.
Sean Bowles. Yeah, Sean Bowles. Like, I get it if you're part of that cult, like if you're part of the church, you were raised there, you went to youth there, and then this thing is normalized to you. But it's really weird when I see people like Facebook moms and stuff sharing videos like this, like, oh my gosh, man, prophet tells the truth about. It's like, how weird do you have to be? Arthur, I'm sick of the excuse, by the way, where like, oh, like the older generation or something didn't grow up with all this knowledge. They don't know how to like research videos and stuff like that to show like these people being called out. It's like, dude, come on, man. Like anyone can do this. You don't have to have access to like ChatGPT, YouTube, and go watch a bunch of reactions. Like if you're walking in the spirit and stuff, some of this stuff should be weird to you, unless like you've been really like groomed into this. I get that, but it's like, if you showed me this idiot at any point in my life, like literally when I was whatever 10 years old to today when I'm 33, I would have told you this guy's nuts, regardless of whether I was like super charismatic at the time or reformed or whatever it was. Like it's just like, it's so obvious that guy's weird. So it doesn't make sense when people are like, oh my gosh, he knows my birthday. You know, it's like, so what? By the way, my wife brought me a really good food. Look at that. She just made this for me. It's like a veggie bowl with potatoes and meat.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go. Having a YouTube channel is a discipline. Amen to that, says Salwa. People may not realize that. It's having a determination to keep going when no one cares. Seemingly no one cares. Or support. And so much work goes into what is done and filmed. Yeah, and that's partly why YouTubers resonate with one another and connect with one another. Some people might think it's like cliquey and stuff, but there's an aspect of these guys understand. Like when I hang out with some people on YouTube, they're constantly encouraging me. Like, brother, go on. Yeah, you might not be happy with the numbers now, but just keep going on. Trust me, it's going to grow. Like, you got good content. They're giving me advice, helping out in various ways. It's really encouraging. And so that's very important. You need that kind of, because quite often there's just silence and you're doing it alone. So to have individuals around you who actually like watch your content, in this case mine, folks watch it. Like I was in a group and I told some folks that I had, like we just passed 10,000 subscribers. And then one of the guys turned down and said, really? Dude, I thought you were like 50, 60,000 in. I was like, no, which, but yeah, there's like constant encouragement in that way. So that's really cool. Okay.
By the way, why am I grainy? Like my internet's fast, my upload speed is fast, everything is updated.
Yeah,
could it be just like eCam stuff, or?
I don't think so, because then mine would have issues too. It could.
Yeah, it's just so weird, man. Like, I just did a speed test and stuff, and everything is fast. And
hang on, let me check something. Yeah, I wonder if you zoomed in a lot.
No, I'm not even zoomed in. This is like the furthest my camera is. It's just super weird that it's like actually grainy, but whatever. I don't care at this point. Yeah. Somebody said something. Tom. Sorry, Tom. It's not because Truth Seeker said, Tom. It's not because of that. It's because of biblical illiteracy. I am a charismatic, and we were not taught to question the prophet, but question the prophecy. And we are taught, to not to question the prophet, but question the prophecy.
Yeah, and I
don't get that. Can you explain it to me?
People who come from the Pentecostal circles are taught way too much to honor the man of God, and they don't question anything. There's also a lack of accountability built around these men. Yeah, the idea is that like the prophetic word could be wrong, but the person is solid. Right, that's the idea there. Oh, that's cool. Nick says I have a bunch of people watching my lectures, which is cool. Excellent. I think there's a great market on YouTube for just giving lectures and teaching people stuff. So I'll do it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I shoot like I get what you're saying, Truth Seeker. It's so weird because so when I called out that church, that local church, whatever, a few months ago, which I have to say, after having thought about it and like put thought into it and all the backlash that came, I don't regret it 1%. I would do it 100 times again. Funny. That's me being so funny. Yeah, I don't. So when I did that, it's like some of the responses that were coming back is like that what you just said. Like, how dare you like question the anointed of God or a man of God or whatever. Or it wasn't talking about that pastor specifically, but it was just saying like, you need to be careful when you question men of God. And I was like, bro, like, who do you think you guys are? Like Dave, like King David. Like when I watch King David and like and Saul, King Saul is coming to like question Samuel about like why David is anointed.
Did you notice you said when I watch?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're talking about the House of David show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to clarify that he's getting his information from a show, not the Bible.
No, this is not the biblical, like, but this is my point, because like David would be actually God's anointed, right? Yeah, so when I watch something like that, and like Saul is going up to Samuel and like these intense scenes and going like, like anoint me and stuff like that or whatever. And then Samuel's responding like, I don't decide who God anoints, and basically like this warning about people trying to touch David. And David has this thing where people, it's so funny, every time someone goes like, this boy is not going to be anything, and in the back of your mind you're like, yeah, that's the Lord's anointed, just wait, you'll see. And me and my wife like to give commentary like that. But that's like, y'all think you're David, like some random preacher. It's like they have a 30-person congregation and they're just saying random stuff, random prophecies that never come true, and they're hurting people, and they're like walking around hotel rooms, and you expect me to be like that's the Lord's anointed, let me not touch him, just because like 5 years ago he like said something that blessed someone's
Yeah,
life.
but
That's
it
so
is,
freaking weird.
but even if that's the Lord's anointed, David was the Lord's anointed, and Nathan the prophet called him out for his sin. What we see in the Bible is actually the opposite of that. What we see in the Bible is a constant calling out of the Lord's anointed people. People get called out all the time. Paul calls Peter out for not hanging out with the Gentiles because of his, whatever. I won't call it racism. Quite often people call that racism. I don't think it is. It is discrimination. He's acting out of fear. And so, like, what's the point? Like, Jesus calls out the rightly established religious leaders. Their positions are properly and rightly established. And Jesus calls them out. John the Baptist is calling them out.
Yeah. My point was more that like these great men of God, like David and stuff like that, and it's good you mentioned that even these guys were called out. But my point is, like, some of these guys are just like weird freaking sissy guys. Like, oh my, like I was listening to that Bolts guy speak, and he's like, oh my god, did I get that right? Did I get that right? Wow, it's like I got the prophecy right. Oh, I don't know, it just came to me. It's like these guys aren't even like these like crazy like I don't know. It doesn't feel like worthy enough to defend these guys from the beginning. Like they're men of God. They just seem weird from the beginning. Look, is it like wrong to? I don't know. You tell me this. Is it wrong to just like look at someone and their just general character and the way they talk to people and the random things they say and be like, this guy's probably way too weird to be like in the field of ministry that he's in? Is that like? Would you ever judge someone like that, or you're like you don't judge people
No,
like that?
you're asking a situation in which I think the Lord rebuked me about when I was much younger. I remember going to a wedding, and then there was a guy that sat next to me, and maybe like within like 3 minutes. Now this was, mind you, a specific kind of crowd where I wasn't expecting someone like this guy to be sitting next to me. Okay. So the crowd matters in regards to what was going on. But I was like, dude, this guy's gay. 100%. I said, he's got a lisp and the way he's talking, all this stuff. And I was like, this is very interesting. With this crowd, and I was just like I had that like immediate kind of observation and thought. And then maybe
what
like
kind of list did he have? Like
maybe 10, 15 minutes later, 10, 15 minutes later, I was in a conversation with another guy, and then he was like, oh man, like this dude, like I brought him, he just repented, he just came out of that lifestyle, like, and then and I was like, oh, Arthur, you're such an idiot. Like there's a lot more to the person's life there, and I immediately and I wasn't wrong about my observations, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. No,
but
I'm not
in
saying
regards
that.
to what the Lord was doing in his life, that's where the conviction, that's where I think it came. Now, I'd be very careful because some of this stuff is cultural, Tom. I do think some of this is cultural.
No, but I'm saying like you depress me. Like you're depressing me right now.
I don't care.
No, because you're being like
brother, I don't exist to not depress you.
No, I get it. Like obviously I'm not saying if there's like a pastor that stands up and they have like a little bit of a more like feminine voice. I'm talking about like the things they're saying. Like it's easy. It's very easy. Like I don't need to go to someone's church. If someone stands up on stage and says something like, the Lord has spoken to me. You live on like Wilshire Boulevard, don't you? And you have a little dog And yeah, what's his name? Sammy. Yeah, his name is Sammy. Oh, okay. Yeah, the Lord is telling me these things.
Wait,
Oh, and
so-
is that your girlfriend? Actually, like stuff like that would be very easy for me. Like I feel like I don't need a 5-hour Mike Winger video. I could have just like watched a
but
clip
the
of that guy.
problem there, Tom, is that you want to be very careful not to judge an individual on that stuff, considering that it might be an individual that's had a certain kind of past, and the Lord saved him, and the Lord is using him, and then now you're like, oh no, this guy can't be the real deal because look at the way he's talking or something like that. That's the
No,
problem
but
with
like
what
the
you're saying.
content of the stuff. Yeah, you would be like that's normal prophecy to you. Like if someone said that on the stage,
Is that normal prophecy?
like would that
No,
go
no, no,
into
no.
the category of like that's not,
It could be, but if that's the MO, that's like all they're doing, then it's
yeah.
suspect, right? Like those are words of wisdom, by the way. I don't consider those in the category of prophecy. But I've never done that. I've had a number of instances where the Lord has given me words of wisdom about people. Like one of them I can remember that was like very clear is I told the person that I asked them a question. Actually, I said, is your relationship with your parents okay? And it just broke down and started crying. And I was like, oh, I didn't expect that. And then they told me that like all this stuff. Now there's a context to that as to why I would consider that a legitimate word of prophecy. But like if that's all I did, it's like everyone I spoke to was your relationship with your parents, then I would be suspect about that. I want to be very careful, man. I want to be careful because I think that is because I do think that's judging based on appearance, and we're not to do that.
No, but I wasn't talking about appearance. I was talking about like the things they say.
That's an appearance. You're talking about the way they're saying stuff.
No. I'm saying the things they say.
Okay, that's different.
Like not the way there's like if someone's like Jesus Christ is the Lord of the universe, and it's only through him that you can have salvation. I'm not gonna be like, whoa, this guy's definitely
okay,
like
good for the clarification.
About more of like the things they're saying. Like
let's ask the chat. Hey, chat, were you guys understanding Tom the way I was understanding him, or what he just said?
You definitely were. By the way, you have a
right,
great
Arthur, if you took it the way I was saying it, and right, Tom, if you took it the way Tom was saying it.
Come on,
before his
you think I'm
clarification.
just gonna look like someone has a like lower pitched voice, and I'm gonna be like false prophet? Like I'm talking about like people who are false teachers.
I get what you're saying. No.
By the way, you have a great gaydar. Like I feel like my gaydar is a little lower than yours. Like I feel like you can really see it. What would you call like a heretic, like a heretic dar? Like
a heretic dar? Oh, like you know,
like a radar gaydar, like a false teacher dar. Because I think I have a really good
Heldar.
Oh my God! Hold on.
He's got to get buttons for this.
A Heldar. Was like, oh, stop.
I have to click.
Oh, this guy's really messing around with his buttons there.
No, because I added some like really cool effects, like if I want to say like something like
the evangelicals.
That's pretty cool. I feel like that's how Orthodox, like that's how Eastern Orthodox people wake up.
Today we have to debate the
Sorry. But it's just I have a lot more, by the way, but I'm gonna use them at the right times. I'm not just gonna throw them all out there. Yeah.
Yes.
Where were we?
Nick is just posting the damned dar.
That's really good, Nick.
That wasn't Nick.
Who was that? Tim
Etherington. Tim, how you doing, brother? Man, I love how we get like all these Aussies and British people on this channel. Like Americans don't care about us. People from other places care about us. Seriously. Hey, let's do this, guys. Just because I know some of you guys and where you're from. Write down the country where you're watching from. Please write down the country because I want people to know how global we are, man. From sea to shining sea, not signing. Shining sea.
Signing sheet. Nick, can you stop sending like LGBT flags,
Yeah, man,
bro?
Nick,
Like,
stop it. We're gonna block you.
this looks like I feel like my wife's gonna walk in on me like on a chat. She's gonna be like, "What are you doing?"
Scotland. Okay, here it's just gonna come in. Just write the country, guys. Hey, did you guys see how? Did you watch the UFC fight the other day? How our Liverpool guy got beat up. He said, "All right, lads, I got beat up." He got beat up bad. Look at that. Look at that. Scotland, Australia. This guy, Kazakhstan. He's dying. Los
Greenland,
Angeles.
USA.
What?
Greenland, USA.
Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. Okay.
That's hilarious.
Okay, this is some weird Turkic country, I guess. Australia. Where are all the Brits at, man? Which flag do you use? What do you mean, which flag do you use? This guy's trying to be an imperialist. He's like, which flag do I use? Wow, what an imperialist, bro. How about you use the flag of your country? Not your empire. Scousers don't get knocked out. He didn't get knocked out, fair point, but he got beat up real bad. The Free State of Florida.
Oh, that's cool.
As opposed to the not so free state of California.
Florida man in here. We have a Florida man. I just dropped my fork.
Now you got to use your hands to eat.
Where were we? Oh, politics.
Let's pivot to politics a little bit here.
Sorry, I'm chewing on the thing. Yeah, like what the heck is going on, right?
Well, I don't know. I want you to tell me what's going on.
Okay, so what's going on? Okay, so Alex Preddy, 37 years old.
Registered nurse.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, registered nurse. It's like they have to list everything positive about someone, right? Like he fed his dog every morning. But like I'm kidding, because I did actually put out something like calling this shooting sort of unjustified. But there was a video footage of him apparently trying to like kind of like protect a woman or something that was out there protesting. I think he had a gun on him. I think he had a gun on him as well. And it looks like during that whole chaos that was happening, I'm sure you guys have seen the video. He was taken down, and in that process of him being taken down, the officers, like saw a gun on him and etc., and apparently shot him, claiming that he was like reaching for his gun or something like that. At least that was the original story. So I've looked at it, and it's so weird, Arthur. Like, it's so weird to me. Like, you know how they say like witnesses can look at the same thing and come up with other like
yes, this is
whatever, but that's like
epistemic
after
question.
the fact. What's up?
This is a question of epistemology. Happens. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, but like it's weird to me that people can look at a video and like just come to like completely different conclusions, because this is not like something you're like using recollection memory to go back on where things can get muddy. This is like you're just looking at a video. It's like, it's super weird to me. By the way, it's possible because there even a video doesn't show some of the other factors, like what's being said. So the administration, or some of the videos that I've seen like that are like pro the shooting, like meaning like it was justified, say that one of the police officers during that struggle noticed a gun, came and picked up the gun and removed it from the scene. And this is all on video.
Yeah.
And the other officers hadn't seen that removal process. So one of the officers, I'm assuming the one that took it away, yelled gun, and then he took it away. And the police officers then shot him. And after the first couple shots, he reached to his side and grabbed what looked like a backup magazine. That would go into his gun. And so a lot of some of the conservative people were saying he was reaching for something, and it was just dishonest because the timing was off, because he had already been shot before he had like reached for that magazine or whatever he was doing. Maybe his like after being shot, his hand just like went back and it looked, but he was definitely reaching for something, but that was after being shot. So it's like it's screwed up. Like, look, if you're gonna defend the shooting because like, oh, the other cops didn't know, whatever, like there's a case to be made, but like don't completely butcher it by going like the guy was reaching for something and then he was shot. It's like, no, dude, he was already shot. Like I see the video. I'm not a moron. Like I can actually see the I hear the shot. Like he got shot before he reached for that magazine. So I think that theory on the other side, I forgot what it's called. My brother was telling me about it yesterday. It was like the something gun theory. Have you heard of it, Arthur?
No.
It's called here. Let me tell you real quick. It's called shoot. Whatever. It's called something gun theory. If someone else knows this, like bring it up. The discharge theory is that the cop grabbed his gun and said gun, and the gun he grabbed discharged because the model is known for that. Okay, that's a secondary theory. So the second theory is, I guess the SIGs are known for discharging, and that's one of the theories that it accidentally discharged. This happens a lot, by the way. But regardless, and then
I'm not buying that one, man. My buddy has a SIG.
Yeah.
Our buddy has a SIG. Shot it a bunch of times.
Yeah,
Doesn't randomly discharge.
I'm not experienced with that gun at all. But then the other thing is that the cops basically shot like purposely shot a man who just wasn't a threat and just wanted to like shoot him in the head. So like this is the kind of like it goes too much one way.
Yeah. So
right?
okay,
So like,
okay. Let's because we want to think about this in a Christianly way. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna guesstimate here a little bit, or at least I am, because it doesn't have to be either way. There could be a rational explanation to it, where I won't say that because then people are going to misunderstand me. Okay, this gentleman shows up to a protest, which is his rightful act as an American, wherever you may stand. I frankly don't care, because I know all the people that are like he's justified would be saying like that are gung ho saying the shooting was justified, would be saying it's unjustified if it was a conservative guy got shot. Like, think about it. All of you conservative people that are, pro gun, pro Second Amendment, people carrying and all this stuff. This guy actually was doing all that stuff. He had it registered. It was legal. It was on him. All of that. Showed up to a protest. Did he try to use it on the police officers is the question that we should be asking. Not that if he had it on him. Some of the commentary that I've seen from conservatives is that's where the hypocrisy comes through. Oh, he had a gun on him and he showed up to a protest. That's his right. He can do that. Okay, assuming all the legalities and all that stuff. So chill, because if this was if it was a gun-toting Second Amendment sort of guy, he'd, again, people would take the opposite thing. So can you show up now? The cops pushed this woman. They're pepper spraying in the beginning, as far as I can see, or I've seen, and then he comes in there and they pepper spray him and stuff like that as well. It doesn't seem like he takes his gun out. I mean, somebody else walks away with a gun. So could it be that the guy takes the gun and yells gun, and people think that the guy's pulling out a gun, so they shoot him, and it's accidental in the sense that they think they're reacting to something that's happening where it's not. They're still guilty over it. They're still wrong for doing it. But now that gives us some justification rather than these guys are just going out there just to like willy-nilly shoot people. That's what we kind of try to bring it to a balance instead of just saying, no, the cops are completely innocent. They didn't do anything wrong. Or this guy didn't do anything wrong. And then you put some responsibility on this gentleman as well. Brother, you showed up. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
So like, brother, you show up to a protest and you're carrying a gun that's loaded for whatever, even though it's you're legally, like, I'll defend you legally. If you're doing it legally, I will defend you all the way. But there's a wisdom aspect of it. Like, tensions are high. A shooting has recently happened. All those things should be taken into consideration about you going somewhere to do a certain thing, and whether you're actually weighing the pros and cons and the wisdom of it. That matters a lot in any one of these given situations. And so from what I can see, man, I think I think the administration is very wrong in the way they're going about this. Sort of doubling down on this whole thing. They should just say, hey, we're doing an investigation. We're going to figure out what happened. I watched the head of ICE. I forget that guy's name. He wears weird jackets, by the way. Huh?
Tom Holman?
No, the other guy. Who's the guy in Minnesota?
The other guy.
Always wears weird trench coats. People comparing him to SS officers. He was just like, it's a riot. He's a suspect. And I get like the legalese, and there's a lot of stuff happening within this. And that's the other thing that folks need to take into consideration is the moral aspect of this versus the legal aspect of this. Courts, lawyers, judges, jury, they were all going to look at this situation very differently than your average person looks at this. Things get considered and taken into evaluation that normally to the naked eye, when we look at it, never gets taken into consideration. That's why they call in experts. Like, how much time do you have to react to a situation if somebody yells out gun?
Yeah. And you see like a holster there. Like there's a holster.
Yeah.
So it's not like out of the realm.
Correct, because they can still be charged, but there's different levels of charging individuals. Yeah. Right? There's very, very different levels. Like, if you figure out the ICE agent the night before this whole situation was texting his friend saying, man, I can't wait to go out and, I can't wait until I meet someone, I want to shoot him or something like that. Then you got more motive and all that stuff. That's why investigations ought to be done. But if it's, hey, we heard gun and we reacted to the situation wrongly, thinking he was pulling out a gun on us, that's going to be taken differently. I still think they were wrong. They were pepper spraying him. They had him on the ground. There's way more of them than the person. I think that, the agents are absolutely wrong about this, man. I think Christians need to chill. And I love what you posted something online where he said like, hey, like our political alliances and allegiances should not trump our normal logic and our Christianity. Yeah. Like if people are wrong, they're wrong. Simple as that. This should not be a left and right divide. This is why I keep bringing up, if this was a gun-toting, Second Amendment defending, MAGA hat wearing, America t-shirt wearing guy that got shot with a gun on him, all the conservatives would be saying he was murdered because he was a conservative. He was murdered because he was, protecting his Second Amendment and we believe in it and he has a right to have his gun. All of them would be saying that stuff. And if that's the case, that means people aren't thinking rationally on this issue. The other side I saw that was very interesting is somebody put up this person's like way left field Bernie Sanders individual. They put up a picture of like the police officer wearing a Israeli star on them, shooting the guy, and then I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the gentleman that was killed, he's Jewish. Is that correct? Did you? I'm
not sure. He definitely looks Jewish.
I thought I saw some info that he was Jewish, and I was just like, dude, your whole narrative you're trying to construct here is so bonkers. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, just think a little bit clearly here.
Yeah, so like, can I say two things to kind of what you said? One is, it's really important not to judge, like as a person who's viewing this, to make intent necessarily, bless you, part of the legal process the way you think it's going to be, right? So like the way the right was saying during that other lady who got shot, something good, I forgot her last name.
Renee Good. No?
Renee Good, yeah. So when Renee Good got shot and the conservative was like, she was trying to run over and kill the cop. It's like, you don't know her intent, like, especially now she's dead. So you can't say like, were you trying to actually run over the car or did an officer perceive it that way? And so like, it was wrong to say like her intention was to kill the cop. The right thing was like, that's what the cop perceived and had legal justification. Now, same thing on the right here, on this issue, right? You can't say Like you can't say that the guy, his intent, or the police officer, I mean, his intention was to kill the guy. Like you got to be consistent in that. Like you don't know the police officer's intention. It seems to me like really weird that the police officer would be willing to risk his career, his livelihood, his reputation by just taking a gun out and like shooting someone in the head for no reason. Like clearly it seems like his intention is not to just like assassinate someone right there. It seems like there was another reasoning that he had that made him believe he was justified. Now, whether that's a correct reason or incorrect reason, that will be determined in court. What I'm saying is, in hindsight, like as I'm looking at the clip, it seems like an incorrect reason to shoot the guy.
Yeah.
Like it didn't seem like he needed to shoot that guy. But we don't know. By the way, you don't know the ins and outs of those conversations. You don't know what someone's saying in that moment. You don't hear the clutter. You don't know if the other cop is saying he's going to shoot us. Like you don't hear all of it. There's too much happening.
Or you don't know if he said something.
Yeah, like you really don't know.
So I'm assuming there's body cam footage that's going to come out.
Some ICE wear body cam, but I think some don't. So it's going to be hard. No.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. So like I'm going to say a hypothetical, you guys. Okay. I just want you guys to understand different forms of arguments and all that stuff. Suppose that information, all the people that are having these conversations saying all the stuff they're saying, suppose the guy, Alex, the gentleman, he yelled out, I'm about to shoot you MFers.
Yeah.
Does that change the situation? So he's got a gun on him. He's threatening them. Does that change the situation? I think it does. Like I gave you the example of a one of the ICE agents sending a text saying, I can't wait till I go out there tomorrow. Like I want to look for someone to hurt. That obviously changes the entire scenario. Now we have intent. Now we have this person, we can trust their testimony. All these things all change the scenario. And again, this is why we got to trust our legal process. Look, one thing about America that's really good is that the legal process works. It works. Yeah. Is it perfect? No, it's not. But it works, man. And for the same reason, I've said the same exact thing when it came to the Charlie Kirk situation. There's information out there that we do not know. We should not draw conclusions before all the information comes out. Now, again, I haven't seen all the information. I don't think everybody's seen all the information. So I was saying audio analysts have come out with some verbal analysis. Please do your research. Okay. Yeah, for me, I wasn't making a point. I was making a point. I was saying that I wasn't saying that was the case. Please listen. There's no, you guys, all of you guys in the chat, just pay attention closer to what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how many times we've said that we think the ICE officers were in the wrong for doing this. Like, what do I need to do? Twist my head upside down and say it so you guys understand that we think they were wrong? What I'm saying is, generally in situations, when the public is looking at a situation, and then when the opportunists are looking at the situation, i.e. Tim Walz, i.e. Donald Trump, because they're all going to try to take advantage of the opportunity. Like, we're not brainless here. We understand that politicians often do that. And I know the conversation gets lost, but we should be paying attention to the conversation. Why are people so aggressive towards these agents? Well, you know what? When you get the governor of a state coming out and saying Nazis are at the door and they're coming and kidnapping people, that's going to put people on edge. You guys, if I really thought that the United States government, our administration currently, was were Nazis and they were rounding up all the Mexicans to drop them in gas chambers or something like that, I wouldn't sit by. I would get up and do something because that's the right thing to do. Like, these people that are doing all the protests and doing all these things legitimately believe these things. And I think there's a fair argument to be made in regards to how much are we going to hold these politicians responsible for the things that they're spewing. And I mean that across the board. I mean right, left, middle. It doesn't matter to me. When you constantly compare Donald Trump to Hitler, when you constantly compare ICE to the SS, people are going to act on it because you're not leaving any room for nuance. And I think there is room for nuance. I saw ICE officer pull up, and he's begging to the person. He's like, "Hey, please, we're here to arrest a known child molester. Yep. Please don't get in the way." And then the guy goes, "Oh, we're not getting in the way. We're just media." And he's like, "The people behind us that are honking, they're getting in the way. Please stop this."
Yeah, he says this is insane and drives off.
Like, what are we going to do about that guy? Like, he's out there doing his job. He thinks he's doing the right thing. They have credible information that they're going to go arrest someone that's molested children. Like, does anybody in their right mind think this is... Unless you're going to go all crazy conspiratorial and say, well, they're making all these charges up. These people haven't done any of these things. And this is the way they're, whatever. Then, okay, we can have that conversation. But are they or are they not? I think there was a recent issue that happened with a 5-year-old where it came out like ICE detained this 5-year-old and stuff like that. And then more information came out like, oh no, the kid's dad ran away. And what are they supposed to do? Leave that 5-year-old? Of course they're going to take him. So let's reasonably think about these things. Okay? Let's reasonably think about these things. Did you all see how the officer pushed the woman to the ground? Yes, I saw the woman get pushed to the ground. Are they not supposed to push women to the ground who are getting in their faces and are blowing horns in their faces, driving cars in front of them? Like, the context matters to this. This woman wasn't like walking by the side of the road and then some ICE officer just ran to her and pushed her down. She was in the scuffle. And I'm sorry, but we can't have it every way we want it as a society. People are going to argue women are equal. The women, I mentioned this a number of streams ago. Why is it that always at these protests, a majority of white American women think they can get up and do very aggressive things without any repercussion?
That's true. That's white liberal women.
That's not how the world works. Look, not everybody in the world holds the same values. Yeah. If a woman slaps me, I probably will not respond aggressively. But 80% of the population is not like that. There are guys you can go to and slap a guy as a woman, and that guy will deck you and knock you out in a heartbeat because they don't care. And there's videos all over the place on the internet where a woman goes and slaps some guy thinking that the guy is going to withhold his punches, withhold himself because she's a woman, and the guy doesn't. And then you see a picture of a 250-pound guy knocking out a 130-pound girl. I'm not defending that. I'm just saying this is the reality of the world. People don't all share the same worldview. Not everyone's a Christian who's concerned about, man, how does this please God? How does this not? How do I work in these ways? And I mean that on all sides. So, yes, there's a scuffle. Yes, she got pushed down. Yes, this gentleman went to protect her. And we know what happened, right? Is it awful? Yeah, it's awful. It's absolutely awful. But it's the same women, again, because then you got to think contextually and categorically, it's the same women driving their cars in front of these ICE officers or trying to hit them. For the ICE officers, they're not distinguishing these people. They're in the moment. They're in the heat of the moment. Look, let me give you an example. A story that was shared with me, Tom, a long time ago. That's heartbreaking. This was a guy I was having a conversation with who had just come back from Iraq. Soldier, gunner. The helicopter, guns. And he told me that they shot a kid. This guy was traumatized over it. His unit shot a kid. A little 8-9-year-old kid. This kid was walking towards them. Towards their, what's the word? Caravan, their unit, right?
Yeah.
and they had warned the kid. Now at this time, I think he was on a Humvee or something like that. They warned, they yelled in Arabic, told the kid stop. The kid didn't stop. They fired warning rounds. The kid didn't stop, just kept coming. They end up killing this kid. Now people will look at that and look at how awful they shot a kid. Absolutely awful. But what happens when you've had situations like that, where the children have come and they've had bombs strapped to them and have blown up and killed all these soldiers? For people who aren't like aware of this, by the way, it was a common thing. And I don't know if you've heard these stories, Tom, but it was a common thing between the Iran-Iraq war for the Iraqis to send children with bombs strapped to them to blow up Iranian tanks. America's not even involved in this. Forget America. It's Iran-Iraq fighting.
Yep.
This was a common thing. My parents, my elders have told me about these stories. So you got a situation like that. Yeah, you're going to be on edge. You're probably going to make wrong decisions. This all happens all the time. People aren't perfect. So yes, it's awful that this woman got pushed down to the ground or even punched or whatever it may be. But where do we draw the line in these situations, right? Like, oh, we want to lower tension. We want to lower tensions. We want to do all those things. Fine, let's do it. But you can't get any side here. But you can't get people getting up and saying, these people are racist scum Nazis. And then you justify being aggressive towards them. And then when we have really, really tragic situations come out of it, turn around and say, see, you guys should have controlled yourself. You shouldn't have to act like that. I still think they should have controlled themselves. I still think they shouldn't have acted like that. But let's put the blame properly and fairly on people. That's very, very important. And I think sometimes we just forget that in the midst of these conversations. Look, I don't know where kind of the whole situation is in regards to the investigation. The two kind of press releases I saw, they were shorter clips that I saw. Pam Bondi, I think, was one of them. And then that gentleman, I think that someone wrote, Bavino is the other one. Both of them sucked. I think were horrendous. It would have been much better if they came out and said, you guys, we're sifting through all the information. We're on the side of truth and we want to do what's right. We will see the details. We will figure it out. And this will go through the process, the legal process it needs to go through, rather than coming out, I think, and just being foolish about it and just doubling down. Because, look, there's just some wisdom, some practical wisdom there. When you double down that early without all the information coming in, and then your side comes out to be wrong, at the end of it, you're going to look double wrong. You're going to look twice as wrong. So there's some wisdom. I think it's like, why are they not properly acting like that? Okay. Those are some of my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple conversations here. One is that, like what you just said, is that you can look at a situation and regardless of what the backdrop to that is, say, yeah, that was probably wrong. And that's what we're doing here. We're like looking at it for its own merit, right? Like, this is the thing that happened, and if you put aside all political debate and the things that led up to it, was this justified? That's like a legal question.
Yeah.
They'll answer in court. But also, a lot of conservatives have been putting things out there that are completely true, which is that the left has a history of creating this kind of chaos when they're out of power, and they'll do it knowing that, you know, what you said, that rhetoric is going to push people to the streets, going to push people to protest, push people to do crazy things. Like during the George Floyd riots, they were burning down cities, killing shop owners. Like those things were actually happening. For a guy, by the way, and I'll say this confidently, that was probably not killed because of that cop stepping on his neck, and it seemed to be more drug-related reasons that he was killed. Sorry. It was for more drug-related reasons that he was killed, but because of the narrative they created, and that cop became sort of like that example that they had to make, they they did that to the streets, and then there was
look,
just and so it's
we
weird.
can't have short memories about this stuff. And I
Yeah.
don't mean that in a revengeful sense, by the way, in a vengeance sense. I think that's not good. But we can't have short memories. Do we not remember the politicians in the United States coming out and saying, if you see a conservative sitting down and having lunch with their families, go punch them in the face? Have we forgotten about that? Are they not advocating for violence? Look, I will be the first person to call out my conservative brothers and sisters for all the wrong stuff that we do. Let me just put myself in that category. We do and we say. But we can't just sit there and act like it's all one-sided. No, there is no instigation. No, there aren't people that are I've seen multiple videos, and so have you. I've seen multiple videos of individuals in full gear, army gear, saying we need to arm ourselves, we need to hit the streets, and essentially advocating for what? What are they advocating for? A civil war. We can't be naive enough to think these people that are doing this are not bad actors that want this country to be internally destroyed. That they could be, they could be foreign agents for all I know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the Russians just sit there and twiddle their thumbs? Do you think the Chinese sit there and twiddle their thumbs? We talk about America getting involved in the affairs of countries around the world, which America does. Do we not think that other countries are trying to get involved in the affairs of the United States and destabilize the United States because it's beneficial to them? You guys can't be, we cannot be that naive. This is the reality of the way the world works. Now, if you want me to put that in theological terminology for y'all, this is the way that the kingdom of this world functions. For America, for China, for whomever, there's a reality to the way the kingdom of this world functions. And there's a reality of the way the kingdom of God functions. And the kingdom of God calls us to be rational. The kingdom of God calls us to be sober-minded. And that's what I'm calling, look, my influence on this channel is predominantly, I know, with Christian individuals, and there's a number of people who are non-Christians who observe us. I want to showcase proper thinking, sound-mindedness, biblical a biblical way of doing things, fairness, ethically, fair and proper and all that. So that's why I want to propose that we do push for justice. Let all the information come out. If people are lying, call it a lie. Don't try to backpedal 85 steps to justify the actions of your own side. That's horrendous. That's not what God's called us to. Okay. Maxine Waters was the person that was talking about all those things that I mentioned. Have we forgotten that a vast majority of the people that we have doing these things were also people that thought our children should go to school and stay 6 feet away from their classmates, and so therefore have been psychologically, maybe in some cases, irreversibly damaged? We're just going to forget that stuff all happened. Just ignore. It's all good. Those things are fresh in our minds. Have we forgotten all the beta males yelling at people and telling them they got to wear masks in their cars when they're alone? Because I haven't forgotten about it. Again, I'm not saying this in the sense of vengeance. I'm saying this that these are the same people. And so I want to be rational about the stuff that comes out of their mouths. And I'll say the same stuff. I say the same exact stuff when it comes to conservative politicians. Like when Trump comes out and says certain things, I'm not deluded to be like, oh, wow, I can't believe he said that. Like he says it because he's been saying it. That's what I expect him to say, right or wrong. I'm not shocked. Oh, man. Can't believe Trump made fun of someone and called him a name. Like, really? Did you forget the last 13 years or whatever it is, 10 years? Have you forgotten about him calling people all sorts of names? Okay, so this is a very good point. Arthur, I agree. I remember piles of bricks left on street corners for riots. I still haven't forgotten that. Both January 6th and a lot of riots in 2020 were instigated. My brother sent me pictures of him showing up on job sites where there was piles of bricks just left in the middle of the night in the middle of the street. This is not hearsay. This is my brother sending me a picture. It's like, hey, we showed up. Why is there a who brought this? What truck pulled up here to drop these piles of bricks here, knowing that there was going to be a protest there the following day? Let's not be ignorant. Let's do what the Bible calls us to, right? Like, let's be vigilant in our thinking, in our minds. Be fair and vigilant in the way we process information. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Tom, anything you want to say?
Yeah, I just think it's very rich that Democrats or liberals all of a sudden are like these like pro-constitution people. Like, we have the right to like bear arms and defend our citizenry against like tyranny and stuff like that. It's like, first of all, you can't just like once in a while claim that you love the Constitution and like you're against tyranny and like you have the right to bear, like you can't do that only when it's beneficial to you. And it's like, see, we're being consistent here. We're saying the guy could have like easily just had the right to carry his gun, but it's like this whole thing about them posting online, like some liberal account yesterday that somebody shared on my Instagram put the battle hymn of the Republic behind like the leftist call for like standing up against tyranny, the battle hymn of the Republic. Like, let me breaking news to the left out there. The founding fathers and like the founding members of this country would be ashamed of what you have become, especially the white liberal women. And I'm not saying the right is perfect and they don't sometimes stand for things that are false or do stupid things, but like they actually do love America. Like the conservatives and the right actually do love America. Y'all, for the most part, leftists, y'all, for the most part, don't love America. So you just can't like pick and choose. Then all of a sudden, somebody was telling me yesterday, how about the Constitution? They just want to tear the Constitution and throw it in the whatever, in the trash can. It's like, dude, you don't care about the Constitution. Like you really don't care about the Constitution.
Well, this is
you would like, okay. Here, let me create
finish
like
that.
the hypothetical. If tomorrow morning, okay, a Democrat came into power, and they had the opportunity to rip up the Constitution and create like a ultra leftist like propaganda constitution that gives them everything the leftists want, the leftists wouldn't even like think twice about ripping that off. But with like conservatives, like we think the Constitution is great. Like we don't want to go and like tear the whole thing apart, throw it away, and create like a theocratic government that like just literally like shut down Las Vegas, like do all this. Like we're not looking for that. We respect it and we work within that. And there's knuckleheads that sometimes go outside of that. For the most part, we love America. So it's super weird to me. Like, so here's the Arthur, what you were saying, and this is what really bothers me, because you were saying like Republicans can, like riot for things and go out there with their gun, with their rights, and so can Democrats if that guy wanted to carry his gun. But here's the thing: what is this guy actually like protesting against? This guy, whether his death was justified or not, and we're saying it wasn't here. This guy's protesting against the United States government, okay, saying that we're going to go and after you released 30 million illegal immigrants into our country, we're going to go and we're going to be a little aggressive in removing them. And yes, we're going to cut the corners a little bit. And yes, we're going to do some things that are going to make you feel uncomfortable. But that's because you've sent 30 million people. So then when you equate them to like a dictatorship, Nazis and stuff like that, you're not actually standing against tyranny. The tyranny is not allowing the government when it's actually for once functioning the way it should, which is to protect the citizens of the United States, the citizens. And it's doing that, and you're going and impeding in that. And then through that process, a couple of citizens get hurt or die. And then you're like, oh my God, they're killing U.S. citizens. It's like, no, their actual aim is to remove illegal immigrants from the country for the sake of the U.S. citizens. And then these people get involved and throw themselves and do these insane things, and they get hurt in the process. And they're like, look, the government is killing its own citizens. This is tyranny. Like, it's so unfair to think of it that way.
I want to be very careful here. So I'm pretty sure folks that are watching this and yourself are familiar with the Dred Scott case. Now, the Dred Scott case is very interesting. I'm not going to talk about the outcome of the Dred Scott case, but here's what ended up happening, right? So there was a gentleman that was a slave and ran away to Wisconsin. Wisconsin was a slave-free state. The federal law enforcement went in there to arrest him and take him back, and then the Wisconsin government arrested the federal agents for doing so, for violation of that. So I would look at a situation like that and say, no. Like there are situations and cases in which the federal government can do certain things, because I'm a conservative like that, just for those who might not know, where I think the state government can say, no, we're against this, we're not gonna listen to you and all that stuff, right? Now the argument should be whether this is a similar situation, like what's happening here. Is the federal government violating laws in regards to what they're doing, and should they be resisted? That's the real question. I think there are times, I think any conservative that I know worth their salt or butter or whatever your analogy is, will amen what I'm saying. There are times when the federal government does things, and it is the duty of what we would call the lesser magistrates, local governments, to stand against the federal government. Okay, now, if people haven't realized, this is very similar in regards to what the state of California was doing when it came to the COVID lockdowns and all that stuff. And there were local governments and churches that were resisting them and not listening. And so being a part of proper, what I would call civil disobedience, there ought to be proper civil disobedience that is supported and backed by solid conservatives. The question we are asking is whether the people that are protesting the ICE agents are doing it properly. It's not that they can't criticize the federal government. It's not that they can't protest the federal government. We live in America. This is the awesome thing about America, that we can and we do and we should. It's whether it's proper and it's being done properly. That's what really comes down to. But
also, you can't ignore whether it's right or not.
Correct.
Like, you have the right to protest no matter what, but you can't be protesting for an objectively wrong thing. Like, you have the right in America to, like, when Roe v. Wade was overturned, right, which was the right decision, morally the right decision, and not according to me, but morally, objectively, it was the right decision. Banning abortion is morally, objectively the right decision. You can go out there and you can hold your, vagina hats and whatever and protest all you want, and nobody can come kill you for it or whatever. Like, you have every right to do that, but you're still protesting for a wrong thing. And the thing is, like, so in this case, if you kind of take it in this case, this is what I believe, by the way. I believe that ICE is actually doing the job that they're created to do, that they're functioning properly, and they're trying to clean up the country. So you going there and protesting against them doing that work, because keep in mind, you had to be doing that initially before, like, a bad situation, like a killing happens, right? So you're going out there and protesting them before anyone's been killed, before any citizen's been killed. You're going out there and protesting ICE, and you're impeding them. You're honking, you're doing these things. And then what happens is something tragic happens, and you turn and say, well, they're the Gestapo, they're the dictatorship, but you're actually wrong. You're standing for the wrong position. So I think it's important, like what you said, to say you can protest for whatever reason you want, but your reason can actually be wrong. And, like, that actually does play into how someone like me views this situation. Like, if you were out there protesting for children, like, under 5, let's say America decided to slaughter all children under 5 years old, and you're out there protesting against that, and a situation like happened like this, and you would get killed, I'd not only say it was unjustified, but I'd call you a hero for protesting there, right? But, like, Alex Petty is not a hero. Alex Petty had the right to protest. He had the right to be out there. Whatever, like, misguided.
Well, look, this is where the politicization of all this stuff comes about. This is where all the politics comes about, Tom. That man, this has happened in this country from the beginning, and again, people need to be historically aware in regards to these sorts of conversations. that we know very little about this gentleman, and then he's a hero.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about him. For all we know, again, for all we know, it could come out that, hey, this guy was involved in an underground ring of human trafficking.
Yeah.
And then now he's not a hero anymore. Look, I always make reference to this, and people need to know this. The Boston Massacre is something that I think people should think about and speak about a bit more. The Boston Massacre, and again, this has to do with the way the news communicates information, all that stuff. Okay, what do we know about?
Is that when the Lakers massacred Boston in 2010 NBA Finals in Game 7, or is there something else you're referencing?
Yeah, it's something else we're referencing. You're right. So here's what we know of the Boston Massacre, right? On the evening of March 5th, 1770, Private Hugh White stood on guard duty outside the Boston Custom House on King Street, today known as State Street. A wigmaker's apprentice, approximately 13 years old, named Edward Garrick, called out to Captain Lieutenant John Goldfinch, accusing him of refusing to pay a bill due to Garrick's master. Goldfinch had settled the account the previous day and ignored the insult. Private White called out to Garrick that he should be more respectful to the officer. And the two exchanged insult. Garrick then started poking Goldfinch in the chest with his finger. 13-year-old kid! White left his post, challenged the boy, and struck him on the side of the head with his musket. Garrick cried out in pain, and his companion Bartholomew Broaders began to argue with White, which attracted a larger crowd. Henry Knox was a 19-year-old bookseller who later served as general in the Revolution. He came upon the scene and warned White that if he fired, he must die for it. As the evening progressed, the crowd around Private White grew larger and more boisterous. Church bells were rung, which usually signified a fire, bringing more people out. More than 50 Bostonians pressed around White. So now think about White. White is the British officer. Let's say he's the police officer, right? There's 50 people around him, led by a mixed race former slave named Crispus Attucks. For those who did high school history, remember Crispus Attucks. Throwing objects at the sentry and challenging him to fire his weapon. So the mob is throwing objects at him and telling him shoot. Reminds me of a video I saw where a guy was screaming at the ICE officer saying, shoot me in the face, shoot me in the face. White had taken up a somewhat safer position on the steps of the custom house, and he sought assistance. Runners alerted Captain Thomas Preston, the officer of the watch at the nearby barracks. According to Preston's report, he dispatched a non-commissioned officer and 6 privates from the Grenadier Company of the 29th Regiment outfit to relieve White of his with fixed bayonets. The soldiers were, and then names all the soldiers, okay? They pushed their way through the crowd. Henry Knox took Preston by the coat and told him, for God's sake, take care of your men. If they fire, you must die. Captain Preston responded, I'm aware of it. When they reached Private White on the custom house stairs, the soldiers loaded their muskets and arrayed themselves in a semicircular formation. Preston shouted at the crowd, estimated between 300 to 400 at this point, to disperse. The crowd continued to press around the soldiers, taunting them by yelling fire, by spitting at them, throwing snowballs and other small objects. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but what ends up happening? They end up firing. Okay? They end up firing. Some people die. It goes in the newspapers. It's called the Boston Massacre. Hardly a massacre in regards to the amount of people that died. But it gives fire to the revolution because tensions were already high. And then this is the straw that broke the camel's back, as they say. And by the way, all of these soldiers were acquitted. Their lawyer, John Adams. John Adams was their lawyer that got them released. What'd you say?
Yeah. I love the show, the way they do that part.
Yeah, it's excellent. If people haven't seen John Adams, the show, it's a one-season show. Highly recommend it. It's very historically accurate. It's so good. But because it was understanding, but it was too late. And things like this happen throughout history all the time. This is part of the issue with the American populace, in my opinion, is that we have a population that is absolutely ignorant of history, period, and American history specific. Absolutely ignorant. They think history, just go to any classroom. And
their own presidents, their own presidents. Like liberals are unaware that their god of a liberal president put random Asians into encampments, and they praise that, they'll praise FDR and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And somebody who's like Trump, they'll call a dictator. Look, man, say whatever you want about Trump, even say his response is wrong regarding this issue. Trump is absolutely nowhere close to a dictator. It's ridiculous to make that kind of argument. Hey, I have a question for you, by the way. I was talking to someone yesterday, Arthur. I think you would have some wisdom in this response. I was talking to someone who was saying that what ICE is doing right now is unconstitutional. Specifically, that they're using administrative orders given by judges for removal of illegal immigrants, and that ICE is using that as sort of a warrant. So there's administrative orders, and then there's warrants given to, let's say, go into someone's house and take them out, right? And so the federal government is using those administrative orders of removal as a sort of a warrant, and they're justifying that because of the removal order, right? So this person was saying, this is unconstitutional. And I was like, well, isn't it unconstitutional to also, I was like, first of all, I don't understand why, just when you don't understand something that's happening, you have to just immediately say unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Like it's automatically going to make it a stronger argument. But I was like, so what do you do with Joe Biden and opening the border to whatever 10 million illegal immigrants coming into the country? And considering the fact that we don't have a court system that can handle that heavy amount of people coming in, especially illegally, apart from the asylum seekers. And their response was this, which really, really ticked me off, even though we had a great conversation. Their response was, what Joe Biden did at the border was use his authority and his powers to just kind of go easy on the immigration control. So there was nothing wrong he did. He just decided that he wasn't going to enforce the laws as strongly, right? And so millions of people came in, but now it's on Trump to make sure he's 100% correct every single time he enforces the law. Which means if Trump if they're kind of facing this crazy threat of 30 million illegal immigrants, and so they have to sometimes justify going in there, grabbing someone, using a child in order to have the parent come back, or whatever those situations are. Any single time he messes up, he's an unconstitutional president. And it was kind of laughing at us. You know what I mean? You can let 10 million people in, but that's okay. You're just softening enforcement. And then now this guy who has to go out there and remove all these people you brought in, every little thing he does is held to the microscope and called unconstitutional. Yeah. How do you even have a conversation with someone?
You don't. That person has a brain rot. That they literally do. At that point, you're not dealing with a rational individual, in my opinion, bro. You really are not. They're just spewing stuff for the sake of it. Maybe they're trying to get a reaction out of you or whatever like that. If I wonder how they would react if their home, was treated that same way. Look, it's very important for us to understand situations, how they're going to fit. We are living in history, right? We're making history as we live. And we need to pay attention. So again, is it shocking for me that we would see a situation like this, where this happens and immediately this individual has posted as a hero? Same thing happens on the right. This is just the nature of human beings. But I want to go back to a comment you made that was very interesting, and I had, because immediately my mind went somewhere. When you said that if it was up to these people, like all of a sudden the left has become like, defending the Constitution, all this stuff. Look, it leftists, and I'm historically speaking now. So I'm specifically, my mind is going to the democratic socialists that led the revolution in Russia to bring about the Bolsheviks to power.
Mm-hmm.
Vast majority of the political parties were democratic socialists, other than the Bolsheviks, okay? They considered themselves as such. Were extremely violent. Extremely violent. Once they got the power, and then the power was consolidated by the Bolsheviks, it no longer became advantageous for them to let the people have the power, having weapons.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, they were extremely violent. During the Russian Civil War, very bloodiest, disgusting violence. Okay, now you guys can look at the details as to what they did, what they took control of, how many people they killed. All of that stuff is there. I'm not surprised that you would get individuals that are like, no, we have this right, we're going to carry guns, we're going to be violent, we're going to do all these things. But in a heartbeat overnight, once they get into power, they realize that resistance to them means like if you have weapons yourself, you will resist them, and you can resist them. They'll be completely okay with giving it up themselves and taking yours. That's the brain rot. This is what's unique about American conservatism, in my opinion. That American conservatives like you and I will defend people, even people that are dangerous on the other side, that they have a right to defend themselves. They have a right to carry weapons. This is this is given to them by God. They have a right.
Yep. And notice even with this guy, with Alex Preddy, the conversation isn't that he wasn't able to carry his gun. The conversation from the conservatives that are like pro-ICE in this situation is that he carried his gun and into a situation that he then created chaos with the cops. And then because of that, even if the cops weren't justified in shooting him, it created a scenario where that could happen, like mistakenly, however it was. But we're not out there saying like this guy didn't have like me seeing the guy had a gun on him did not scare me as a conservative. Like, oh my God, there's going to be protesters that have guns on them. And so, yeah, man, it just to the bigger point, Arthur, like, of course, the Democrats will support his right to bear arms now, and if this turned into a bigger protest, they would say everyone should have the right to bear arms.
Yeah.
But you don't even have to guess whether they would take that right away from you, because they've already told you that. Like they've already told you that they want to take guns away. So of course they would take it away from you. Of course they would. Once they got into power and got what they wanted, they wouldn't allow anyone, including Alex Preddy, to carry a gun. Of course. Like, that's not even a question. It's not even like the Bolshevik situation. Like, you have press, like, these people have told you they want to take your Second Amendment rights away. So it's silly. But if the bigger silly point is that all of a sudden there are these patriotic people who are playing American music and want to stand against government tyranny. Like, this is it's the stupidest fight you can possibly do. The government is out there like trying to fulfill their duty, their obligation to uphold the law to protect the citizens of the United States. Like by removing illegal immigrants that don't have the right to be in the United States. Like you're not a patriot for defending whatever it is. Child molesters, like that cop was the thing you referenced, or people who have committed violent crimes, or people who leave their children and their 5-year-old in the car and run away, and then the cops have to like take like hold of that kid and decide what to do with them. Like you're defending like that kind of people, right? So you're not a patriot, man. That's not patriotism.
No, it's not.
By the way, there are
what it is. I'll tell you what it is. It's utilitarianism. By the way, it's that the ends justify the means. They'll do anything that they have to do in order to get what they want to get to.
Yeah.
Sawa, I
Including
think you're
being,
confused about this
hatred.
comment. This is super confusing to me, and I don't know whether you're mistyping stuff or I don't know. But the communists were far, far worse than the Bolsheviks. The Bolsheviks are the communists. What do you mean they were far, far worse than the Bolsheviks historically? The Bolsheviks in Russia are the communists. So I don't know what you mean by the comparison doesn't even compare. Of course it does. The Bolsheviks are the communists. So look that up. And the other thing is, I want to respond to. I don't know why you posted this, but I'll respond to it anyways. Just so, because I know you're doing YouTube, just to show you proper numbers. Okay. So she said, just looked at the amount of people in this chat. You guys have 1,000 subs, only 10 in the chat. I think at the time you wrote this, I looked it up. We had 18 people in the chat. I don't know why you were seeing 10. That as a percentage is 0.1% in every 1,000. So my response here is go look at extremely large channels. Like you have channels that have 1 million subscribers and they go live and they'll have anywhere from 500 to 1,000 people watching them live. And then look up the percentage on that. Percentage wise, it comes out about to be the same. This is just the way that YouTube works. You have very, very, I mean, it's shocking. Like I'll tell you a channel that shocks me when it comes to the live stuff. Avery from God Logic. When his lives shock me, considering like I think he's at like 300 to 400,000 subscribers, if I'm not mistaken. He'll get 4,500, 5,000 people watching live. Which is crazy. Like, but like, there's been times I've jumped into Mike Winger's lives on Fridays, and he's got 700 people watching, and Mike has 900,000. He's almost 1 million subscribers. So just live on YouTube is a bit different. The other thing is, we've actually had more than 80 people come through this chat, and then probably by the end of the day, it'll be at like 200 something. Just to throw some numbers out for you. So you meant the Tsar. Okay, yes. So were the Tsarists worse? Sorry. Are you saying that the Tsarists were worse than the communists historically? I'm not sure about that. And as far as I know, Stalin alone killed a ridiculous amount of people. Yeah. Okay. So I don't want to just constantly repeat ourselves on this issue, Tom. I hope that the people who've been here from the beginning have paid attention to kind of the way we've thought about this and our rationale going behind it. It's not just because, look, we're conservatives and therefore we're just going to amen everything anybody says on the conservative end of things.
But also you're not going to make me talk about the Alex Preddy situation so much, and then where I lose sight of what's actually true and what's actually happening, which is that Democrats and liberals are creating are purposely creating chaos, okay, in order to do exactly what they've done historically, even in mainly in recent history, in order to gain political power by these kind of scenarios they create. Like, that's the greater point to me. Within that greater point, which is much more obvious, but within that, there are nuances like this where we can look at a situation for its own merit and be like, okay, yeah, that was wrong. But still. Also, Arthur, you know what I was thinking yesterday? Like, let's say I was a police officer, like I was the guy protecting the entrance of a police building, right? And all of a sudden somebody made like 10 5-year-olds attack the police building. Like, they told them go in there and attack the police building, like run in there and say, yeah, like start throwing stuff around. Like, I would, just as a rational human being, I'd be like, okay, they're attacking me. They're walking in here. They're an actual threat, but then they're 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
So the way I would behave would be different from what the law says. Unfortunately, like sometimes, like this is just my internal like person speaking. This is something general. I would only tell you in person. I wouldn't say it in public. But it's really weird to me sometimes when the U.S. Uh, kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like law enforcement people will say something like, "Well, he presented a threat and he was legally justified." And it's like, yeah, but he was 5.
Yeah.
Like, could there be a scenario where like you don't actually like shoot him? Like in general, this is not about this situation, but like when this is how kind of like Middle Eastern people are. Like in our like kind of like what you mentioned, if a girl smacked you in the face or whatever, like something can be completely justified. Let's say something can be completely justified legally and it can be justified morally. Like if a 5-year-old start attacking the police, let's say you're even morally justified to say, I don't know, man, I should push him out, because that example you brought up, like the terrorist stuff. But it's like you can also be like, they're 5-year-olds. Like they're pretty stupid. Let me just like I called a couple of the guys over, push them outside, lock the doors, and then go and like call their moms. Like it doesn't always have to be like the craziest response just because it's justified.
Yeah.
Like if someone came up, if a woman came up, if a liberal woman came up to me on the street tomorrow as she was protesting and punched me in the face, okay, and I could turn around and I maul her. Like just put her on the ground and maul her because I'm aware that I would be justified. I'm pretty much 99.9% sure that I wouldn't do that, even if I was legally and morally justified.
Yeah.
I just think, you know what? That's a woman. It's not gonna be a pride thing for me. I don't care. I'd rather just like have, like the authorities deal with her later. I'm not even gonna punch her in the face. I don't want to knock her out. If she changes her mind later and becomes a normal human being, I don't want her memory of me to be like I knocked her out. Like forget about it. Like that's what I would do in some scenarios.
The thing, Tom, is that there's an aspect of wisdom that goes on here. Like I think the ICE agents need to know, like prior to the situation, you do not want to make martyrs out of people.
Yeah, please.
Like because for a number of reasons, by the way, obviously because it's wrong just to kill people, but even if you're thinking like politically advantageous, sympathy matters in these things.
Yeah,
you want to do everything to the best of your abilities, man. Pepper spray him to whatever.
Oblivion.
To what?
To oblivion.
Yeah, like I don't know, shoot them with rubber bullets or something. I don't know, right? Stunt guns, horse tranquilizers. I don't know, like any one of those options, because then it becomes problematic, right? It becomes absolutely problematic for you, and you should absolutely be aware of that. I do think there is an aspect here. I'm going to throw something around because other people have thrown it around. I think it's an important talking point of hiring into your police force or law enforcement, generally speaking, former veterans. I know that fits like in regards to training and all that stuff, but you also have people that could get through that have been traumatized, PTSD, all that stuff that could trigger them in any moment. For all you know, for this guy came back from whatever part of the world, and then somebody bangs a loud drum next to them and throws a firecracker or something like that, and the guy thinks he's in a war zone now, and his immediate gut reaction is to take out a gun and start shooting. And I think one of the issues that's happened in the United States is people who've come back from war, it's made sense for them to naturally go into law enforcement because it's what they know and it's what they've done. And even the way they interact with people becomes overly aggressive and all that stuff. And yes, they have psychological assessments and all these sorts of things that need to be there and are done, but that's something we should be aware of. And yeah, sadly, we don't have perfect systems. But those things have happened, do happen, and probably will happen.
Yeah, but like, dude, like on another note, like I pray for these ICE officers, law enforcement, like that are going and doing this stuff. Like I really feel terrible. Like imagine going out there doing your work, like you're trying your best, and like you're constantly labeled these things. Like, not to belabor the point, but like you're labeled a Nazi, you're labeled a bigot, you're labeled all these insane stuff. Like, it's gotta just be like draining going out there. And like, by the way, they were deporting people under Obama.
Yeah.
They deported more people under Obama. Also, a lot of people died under ICE custody while Obama was president. Okay. Also, like, the reason that you're seeing it more now is because they're literally following around like ICE agents with like cameras and stuff 24/7. So it's like you're shining a light on them. So it's like we're not stupid here. Like we and the great thing about us is like we have a computer, we can research, we can look back on recent history, because our memories are sometimes short, and we can see like these things that have occurred. So it's like you can't just like go out there and lie to us like Trump is killing U.S. citizens. It's like, bro, that's not the case. And so, yeah, I want to be careful. I guess what I'm trying to say, Arthur, to like finish my thoughts on this, is I will and I should, and it's my duty as a Christian to always stand for justice, even if I know the backdrop to a situation is manipulated. Like, if I know the left is trying to cause chaos and then my side does something wrong in the chaos, I still should have the
Yeah.
mental fortitude to be like, even still, as a Christian, I stand for justice. But at the same time, what I'm worried about, and what a lot of conservatives like the vice president, like Ali B. Stuckey, Matt Walsh, and stuff, is like, don't actually lose the true
Yes,
plot. Like, don't
yes,
lose the
yes.
point in that. You know what I mean? Which is like, I don't know. That's
Well,
what
you
I would
lose
say.
credibility, right? Like
Yes.
fairness and objectivity and all that stuff, and we need to be very careful about that. And
So-
we have a moral obligation as Christians to be objective and
Yeah.
fair and all that.
Yep.
Just to respond to what Sal was saying, if this was your own kid, how would you respond to it? Look, that's a complicated question. Because
Who was our
at
kid?
what
Which
point, I think she means the gentleman that got shot.
one?
Look,
Okay.
if my child grew up and became a criminal, let's just say it, and did something heinous and went to jail for it, how would I respond to that? Well, I'd be heartbroken. I'd be heartbroken for a number of reasons. One of them being that my child is in jail. Still visit him, right? Still love him. I think when you say something like that, like, children can make bad choices when they grow up to be adults. I think this gentleman, as much as he was in his right to do what he did, made some bad decisions. None of those, let me say this very clearly, none of those things deserved him getting shot. But I think decisions as a young adult where I put myself in situations where it could have gone really, really bad. They were just unwise situations. I hung out with some not so kosher people. And if one little tiny thing went wrong, I might have spent the rest of my life in jail for just being not very wise about where I was. Now, that's a personal thing I'm telling you guys.
Yep.
I knew about it out of loyalty and friendship and all that stuff. I didn't say, guys, I can't be here, I'm out. Because I didn't have the maturity. And if something went the wrong way, my life would have been over. Easily, my life would have been over. I would have spent the rest of my days, or a majority of my days, behind bars. So we can make wrong decisions. I understand that he wasn't a criminal, he didn't do anything wrong, but there's a wisdom aspect in there. So yeah, of course I mean, look, I know you're making an emotional appeal as a parent, and I'm a parent, and Tom's a parent, and we understand those,
Yeah.
and that's legitimately so. I don't want to ever imagine what his parents are going through now.
Yeah. And as a woman, I know it's hard to, like, it's very emotional. Sawa.
But you know when you say as a woman, that you're like talking about like you're sympathizing.
No, like her as a woman.
Yeah,
they have a
correct.
very
Yeah,
hard time
no, absolutely.
emotionally.
But as a parent, generally speaking, Tom, I mean that's the case.
By the way, I know. You're making a very serious point, and you're right. And I'm kind of joking, but it's like, never mind.
Yeah, and I think there is room to think in that direction, but
yeah,
the reality is something like that doesn't come up in a court of law.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't. Like if you were a jury, they'd probably dismiss you for saying
they'd
that.
be like, what the heck? Yeah, it's super weird. Like you can be like, for example, you can be the best person. Like actually, not like a fake best person, not the guy that goes and like runs over a guy driving his bicycle for fun, and then the parent coming goes like, he was a loving kid. Like no, not that. Like you can actually be a loving person. Like you can be a good person generally. You can, you can treat people well. You have a good job. You're kind to your neighbors, love you. You're friendly. You go out on the weekends and you have fun. You're not a criminal. And then you can make a very, very stupid decision and get judged just for that decision.
Yeah, of course.
And it can happen, and it can happen even if you're like your life wasn't going towards that. Like, here's an example. Like you can be like the best person in the world, okay? And then like find out your wife is cheating on you. Like after 30 years of being the best person in the world, and snap and like kill her. And then you go in front of a judge, and somebody comes and presents like this person was what's it called, like mitigating circumstances. Like they come and present like a billion things that about your life for like 45 years. This guy's been amazing. 30 years he was married, whatever. All these years he was married to his wife. All these kind of good stuff, right, about you. Like they can do all that, and then the judge will be like, all right, great, but you can't kill someone because you're cheated on.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it might fall into a lesser thing. Whatever, I get it. Like, but they're gonna judge you on like you killing that person. So like
the other thing I would say, is, suppose that this officer that did this shooting legitimately made a mistake. Okay, now I'm twisting it a little here because we want to be understanding of all sides. Suppose the officer that legitimately made a mistake. He heard someone say gun. I don't know, and so he reacts. He takes that. Now imagine being that guy's parents.
Yeah.
And imagine that guy being prosecuted, and he's going to go to jail. And as a parent, you say, I'm going to give a scenario in this situation because we're assuming certain things. But man, I raised my kid well. He grew up. He wanted to serve his country. Let's say he went to the military. He came back. He went into law enforcement because he legitimately wanted to protect people. And this thing happened to them. Now imagine being that guy's mom and dad. Imagine being that guy. Like, I understand there's a person that's passed away. And that, again, that's tragic because someone's lost their lives. And every Christian should always value life to the utmost degree. We, out of everybody on the planet, have the right to value life beyond anything else because people are made in the image of God regardless.
Yep.
Now, imagine being this guy who accidentally made a bad decision in the moment and killed someone. Now he's got to live with it for the rest of his life, that he took someone's life. And the psychological trauma and all the stuff that's going to come with that guy in that guy's life. Look, this is what I'm saying. It's not like this side or that side. This isn't a clear-cut case in my mind, in the sense of like all the details. Like I don't know all the details. If I go with one direction, I'd say, look, they were wrong for shooting Alex, 100%. Now, the reasons they shot him is where I'm trying to, like, there could have been a justifiable reason in their minds in the moment, incorrect reason, but justifiable in regards to, they heard stuff and whatever, and they made incorrect decisions, because people are fallible. That's a possibility. Like, no one comes out of this situation better. In any way, the country doesn't come out of this situation better. But opportunists on all sides are going to try to take opportunity of it and try to double down and use it for their purposes. 100%.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy, Arthur? If they didn't, they would have so much more credibility.
Yeah,
like
I know.
On
all of them.
Side.
All of them.
It's insane. Like, how do you not learn that ever? Like, if you just didn't, like, if Donald Trump came out yesterday and said, listen, I'm a human being just as you're a human being.
Yeah.
And I'm just
I'm a
in a different
dad.
position.
Yeah.
I'm a dad. Alex looks like he could be my son. And I saw this situation and I said, well, this doesn't look great. Like, why did this happen? And so I'm concerned about that. Even though I believe that what we're doing is right, our mission is right, we should be careful in every situation to try our best to make the right decisions. And where we fail, we should look at those things, hold people accountable, and then move on and move forward in our cause, which the American people agree with. So that would be my response if I was Donald Trump. But instead, trying to come out and say this guy was clearly trying to come there and kill, and it's like even the people who want to be convinced, like even as a conservative, I'm like, I want to be convinced that like that's the case. It's very hard to make that happen because everyone at the end of the day, regardless of what they put out in public, internally judge these things. And it's very simple to look at a situation like that and just be like, listen, man, I saw the guy, I saw him flaring his phone around. He looked like a hippie. Like he might have been a little threatening, like perceived threatening, but yeah, this probably went too far. Just come out there and apologize. And if you find out, because that cop is alive, if you find out that this cop, like let's say 30 minutes before said, I can't wait till someone causes some drama so I can shoot them in the head and kill them. And then you find evidence like that, bro, send the guy to jail for the rest of his life. I don't give a crap about that. So like that's when you try to that's a moment where you can actually go and like be like, hey, what was your intent for shooting this guy? Like you can actually talk to this guy because he's alive about his intent. Now you don't know Alex's intent, but at least you know the cop's intent. He's the one that did shooting, right? So like just chill out, bro. Like you're not gonna, if you concede something on your side, you're not going to come out weaker every time. That's just not true. Well, sometimes when you concede, you come out with more credibility. I mean, I've realized that in my life, like, and it's not just fake, like this fake humility, but sometimes when you're talking and you're like, listen, like that's messed up what he did. And I know it's messed up because when I look at my life, I've done similar things and it was very stupid. And I can see myself being that person and making the stupid decision. Like people will respect you for it. You don't always have to be like, no. It's my guys, like it's like no one's. It's really weird, man.
It's weird and sad. Again, like some of the stuff, like when we bring these topics up and we talk about it. I mean, some of the ideas we have are set up and we've thought about and we've talked about. But some of them we're thinking about it as we're having these conversations, which is what gives it the nature that it does. I think that's beneficial for you guys that Tom and I process this information out loud. It's not perfect, but I think we have enough tools to bring it into it to enhance your thinking about it. Maybe there was ideas and sides of it that you didn't see, and you're like, wow, thank you, Tom and Arthur. Now I can think about that properly. And you guys put things in the comment section and we read it and the good ones. As a matter of fact, like we'll go off air and then next time Tom and I see each other, we'll probably be like, hey, did you see that comment that so-and-so posted? That was really good. Let's think about that more. Like you guys enhance the way we think and all that stuff. So,
by the way, on the channel, like just to go back to your channel and lives, like the actual comments that come on your live are so solid. Like you can be on a live with like 1,000 people and people are like, like they're putting emojis and random stuff. Just like the whole thing is like fart. But I mean, look up, like just scroll up to these comments, regardless of whether we agree with them or not. Like people are actually thinking in this comment section. Like all of these are what, like the way I look at this is if I extended the character limit, every single person would be able to write a page here about like their thoughts on whatever they're talking about right now. That just shows it's an engaged audience. And I don't know, man, I'd rather, bless you, speak to an engaged audience, which is like why we do this, I think, on the lives. Like, I'd rather speak to an engaged audience that's going to think about these things, help us think about it, go talk to their community, make a difference, than talk to like 500 people that are just coming to spam and troll and then be like, oh, we had 500 people on the live. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about that. So,
that's right.
This is nice, man. You got a good comment section.
Yeah, and the numbers just went up even though we're going to leave right now.
Yeah.
Gotta leave. It's actually, we're coming up on 2 hours on the dot. And I got a couple of things to do. I do have to rest. I'm feeling my head. Stop doing stuff like that, bro. Stop doing stuff like that.
Hey, can we test some of this stuff out before we leave, please? Can I test some of these sound?
Hey, can we, folks, just pray for me that I recover really quickly from this because I have such a long week. Go ahead, test your sounds out, Tom.
Okay, so guys, tell me what you think about this. This is
The voice hiding. This basically hides the voice.
I don't like that one too much. It's supposed to be like hiding the voice. This is
pitch up. So if I'm maybe trying to be kind of silly, I'll use this voice. But I kind of like this one.
okay. So that's the
You can
pitch,
sing in
and then
that. You'll be a
got-
chipmunk.
Yeah, we got the megaphone, so I feel like I'm really trying to emphasize a point. I feel like the megaphone's good. And then we
got a
got
monster. Salwa.
This is how all Protestants sound in the ears of Catholics and
Yeah.
Orthodox.
yeah, and then you got
The light robot. This is the light robot.
I like that one. And then we got
The small robot. This is the small robot.
that's not a great one. And then we got two more. One is the censor. So I can say like hey, Eastern Orthodox guy, get the out of here. Get I can say that if we ever want to, we can do that. And finally, what I have here is I don't know what this is, honestly. It's called ducking. Do you know what that is? Ducking? I don't know what ducking is, but it's not actually doing anything, so I don't know. So those are my voices. Thanks, everyone. Please vote for your favorite one. so I
Chat,
can
what you
use it
guys
more often.
think? Come on, chat.
I kind of like this one the most.
It's so funny. All right. Fine, I'm done.
Yeah. Well, folks, God bless you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us and having these conversations. They're heavy, man. They're deep, and they take a toll on us as well. By the way, it's really not fun sitting down and talking about this sort of stuff. Like we prefer to talk about all sorts of other things, but it's the reality of the world. Pray for the peace of the world. Pray that we live at peace with all men, especially as Christians, because that's what Scripture teaches us. And then pray for wisdom. The Bible tells us to pray for our political leaders. I've prayed since I became a Christian. I've prayed for, Bush, W.
W.
I've prayed for Obama, prayed for Trump, I've prayed for Biden, I've prayed for Trump again. I've prayed because Scripture tells me that, and that's not a decision I make. Like, no, I don't like this guy, I'm not going to pray for him. But I've prayed for wisdom, that people who are in positions where they make decisions that impact our lives and the lives of others would have the wisdom of God. They'd come to repentance, whether they're liberals or conservatives. I pray for those who don't know Jesus to come to know Jesus. So be praying for all those things, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate it. Tom needs to limit his comedian career before it begins. With that said, we're not going to listen to a guy who's from England and wanted to put a picture of his colonial empire up.
That's right.
For us, that oppressive regime that we broke free from for good reasons. With all that said, God bless you guys. Take care, and I will see you guys later. When later? I don't know. Probably sometime during this week. Take care.